Good evening, and welcome to Late Night Hype Staff Spotlight Series. In this very special series, we have casual conversations with staff and faculty in the world of education about their career journey and college experience. Before I introduce today's guest, here are some very important updates. Now, please remember that while Late Night Hype focuses on higher education, we are in no way affiliated with any college, technical school, or university. But here at Late Night Hype, we do encourage all of our listeners to reach higher. And of course, we want you to weigh in. Use our name, hashtag Late Night Hype, that's night with a K, and subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Now, as a reminder, Late Night Hype is a webcast that educates, empowers, and entertains the college community. We invite students, staff, and faculty on the show to share their higher education journey and experience. A new episode is available every Tuesday on YouTube. Our Staff Spotlight series is available every other Saturday and will conclude at the end of summer 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our first guest. Today's guest, Danilsa Andujar, is a student affairs professional, former student athlete, mom of two, and she is a woman doing it all. In her free time, she enjoys working out, having a little coffee, and hanging out with her family and friends. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our webcast series for the first time, Miss Danilsa Andujar. I'm going to give you a little clap here, darling.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thank you
for
for having
coming
me.
on the show.
Thank
Of
you
course,
all.
tell our audience who you are and, of course, how you began working in the field of higher education.
Yeah, so my name is Danilsa Andujar. Currently, I'm an academic advisor in academic services for student athletes at the University of Central Florida. I graduated in 2012 with an undergraduate degree in education, became a teacher for 2 years in Indianapolis, Indiana, and then decided that I really missed athletics. I was a former student athlete at IU, go Hoosiers, played basketball for 4 years. So I was really missing athletics and kind of wanted to give back to student athletes and help student athletes. So that got me to Orlando, where I applied for a graduate assistantship in academic services for student athletes, worked on my master's for 2 years, and concluded that in May of 2017, and then became a full-time advisor in the same office, doing essentially the same thing that I'm doing currently, but full-time with the women's basketball and women's soccer team. So it's been awesome, a great experience, love higher education, very powerful way to succeed in life. So I'm very thankful to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'm very honored to be your first guest. So let's get it.
You're my first guest for the Staff Spotlight series. Thank you for taking time on a Saturday morning,
Yeah,
especially knowing that you like to hang out with your family and friends to just do this interview. But with the COVID pandemic, I really did want to have an opportunity to talk to staff about how they're transitioning, talk about
right,
their college journey, and then also get a little bit of game plan here a little bit later. But we'll get down to business first.
right.
You talked a little bit about you being a college athlete. Can you talk a little bit about what that was like and share that journey as a college athlete because you was also on full scholarship?
Right. Yeah. So being a student athlete in the NCAA Division I level was very hard. It was very challenging, but at the same time, very rewarding. I made some very good friends. I have traveled to many different places across the world. I've competed all across America. So the experience itself was amazing. Probably the best shape of my life that I've ever been in. So overall, it was a great experience, amazing university, Indiana University of Bloomington. I got a wonderful education, met many different people, and it's definitely an experience of a lifetime. I would totally do it again. But at the same time, a lot of work, a lot of
Yeah.
morning workouts, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, a lot of throw
Yeah.
up, because if you're out of shape, you definitely need to get in shape and you might throw up a couple of times. But again, an experience of a lifetime. Very nice to be able to come out of college and not have to pay anything or be in student debt. So that's definitely a
I know.
blessing.
Can I ask you that? How do
Yeah,
you go about as a high school student getting a full scholarship to college, like as an athlete?
yeah.
Like
So
who
as an
can't do that?
athlete, yeah. So the biggest thing is being recognized. So you definitely want to play at the national level. So yes, you have your high school sports, but if you want to play at the collegiate level, it's super important for you to play club sport or AAU or some sort of travel team where you can be exposed to college coaches. A lot of these national tournaments, coaches will go to because they're easy to attend, convenient. So if you're able to go to one of those tournaments as a part of a travel team and be exposed and have coaches see you, then I think that's like the best way. you have other ways of doing it as well. I did have some teammates who weren't really heavily recruited who sent out highlight tapes and reached out to coaches themselves and were able to receive scholarships for smaller Division II, Division III schools, or even community colleges.
Yeah.
So there's different routes of getting there. It's all about having someone to kind of help you, a coach, a mentor, a parent, to help you get exposed and for coaches to learn, who you are. And then one other thing that I'll always mention that I plan on doing with my kids is, they have a lot of these universities have camps. So if you really want to learn more about what it takes to be a college athlete, or if you want the coaches to see you, then I think attending one of those camps is amazing. Whether it's a small camp, a large camp, whatever the case is, whether it's local, far, I think attending the camps is good because that's a way for them to actually see you. It's not expensive, and you don't have to necessarily be on a travel team or travel far. So.
Okay. Where's your hometown? Like, where are you originally from?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Miami, Florida. All right.
Okay, Miami.
Yeah, so I was actually born in New York, lived there till I was about 4, then moved to Miami, Florida, lived in Miami until I was about 13, 14, and then in high school, moved to Broward County. So I was in the Miramar, Weston, Fort Lauderdale area, graduated from Dillard High School, which is in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and was there for 4 years. And then I moved to Indiana to study. Thought I was going to be there for 4 years. Ended up being there for 7. So that was a crazy experience. Definitely did a lot of soul searching, learned a lot about myself, obviously grew into a young adult. It was a great experience nevertheless. And then I finally moved back to Florida, Orlando in 2015. So I'm a South Florida girl at heart, though. I love me some Florida. I love Orlando, and I really see myself and my family being here for a long time. So love it.
Yes, I love your family. I love your daughter. I actually got a chance to meet Danilsa through an internship that she did in our department that I was working in. So I still work there at the University of Central Florida in Student Academic Resource Center, and that's how I had an opportunity to meet Danilsa. She's amazing. She does her thing, and I'm not surprised that you are where you are now.
Thank you. You were amazing. You helped me so much during that time, so I appreciate you. And look at us, 3, 4 years later.
You looking like a YouTube star with the stuff in the background. You need to start your own channel.
Thank
you.
Hello.
I will kind of transition over to more of a serious question because there's a lot of things going on with COVID-19. My family is into athletes like no other. Like, they're all about athletics. It can be football season, basketball season, baseball. Whatever the sport is, my family really is into sports. But it's been a little bit disappointing with COVID-19. And the COVID-19 pandemic has brought a lot of changes to everybody around the country. What do you think that change is going to look like for student athletes in the fall semester?
Right. So it's very cliche, but we don't know all the answers, right? That's what everyone's saying, because we don't know. This is something that has impacted everyone in the world in so many different ways. And it's literally changing the way that we live, the way that we think, the way that we do things. So I know that procedures and processes are still being developed. The NCAA, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, just this week decided that universities could decide on whether or not their student athletes would be allowed back to campus. So starting with football, men's and women's basketball, those sports would be sort of the first teams to start trickling back in as allowed per university policy. And then from there, I've heard things, from, testing everyone, making sure that everyone's healthy and ready to go, obviously social distancing while on the field or in the court or in the weight room, disinfecting everything, people wearing masks. So a lot of the things that the CDC is advising us to do, those things are being taken into consideration. I think the number one thing is testing, right? Because if you have athletes who are going to be competing and you're not going to be able to socially distance,
when you're in the sport
within a game, right? It's important to test students and make sure that they are healthy to be able to compete. So definitely safety is the number one thing. I think that a lot of the guidelines that are being sent out are that we can do these things if we're just mindful and we take the safety matters needed. I think we can be successful to compete come fall season. Right now, from what I hear in the news and from the conversations that we're having athletically, I think the idea is to still move forward with the football season as anticipated. There may or may not be a delay, but I think that all of those things, the timeline, all of that's sort of tentative, right? Something
Yeah.
might be set and that might change. It might, be moved forward. It might be moved backwards. So I think it's just a matter of testing the waters a little bit, making sure that the students are safe, that the staff is safe, and anyone who's coming into contact with the student athletes is safe. And then I think that's the hope. So we'll see what happens. I know as well, universities are making changes to their fall schedules as
Yeah.
far as classes and deadlines and things like that.
Yeah.
So also that can impact athletics in another way. So it's
Mm-hmm.
ever changing, tentative. But I think the hope is that come fall season, we are able to have fall sports. So crossing my fingers, it all works out.
Yeah.
Because obviously the majority of what I do is working with student athletes and making sure that they
Right.
have what they need academically so that they can then go compete without a problem. But it's hard because it's unknown and we're not sure. So we're reading the news, we're following health guidelines, we're constantly having conversations behind closed doors to figure out how are we going to service students in my office, but how are student athletes going to be able to compete successfully come fall season? So,
Right.
or the new academic year.
Well, how has this changed the way you work with student athletes? Because typically, they're going through their season, they're coming to you,
Right.
you may need
Yeah.
to
So
something.
let me walk you through my day. So in the office with student athletes on campus, usually I'm meeting with 5 to 6 athletes every single morning. So students will come to me, we'll sit down for sort of an academic meeting. We go over their grades, we go over any upcoming assignments, we send out email communication, we do whatever they need in the 30-minute time frame to make sure that they have what they need to make up an exam if they're traveling or study the right materials with a tutor. So a lot of the things that we do are interactions in person. So that has completely removed that has completely moved online. So everything is now remote. The students are home. So we're having conversations via FaceTime, via phone call, via text message. I'm still able to access their upcoming assignments and their academic progress. I'm still able to see how they're doing. So if someone does something poorly, I can see that, I can reach out, and we can get them the help that they need.
Okay.
Tutoring has now been moved remotely. So students have to log into a Zoom session, they're put into break rooms, they're able to share their screen with their tutor, and they're able to get their work done. So that actually has been really successful. In the very beginning, it was hard because we didn't know what it was going to look like. But I think once we got the system set up, it hasn't been bad. Students are able to sit in their own rooms and be comfortable and get help that they need from our certified tutors. So that has been really nice. But a lot of the things that we're doing, we're still able to do them. It just now has removed, or I keep saying removed. It just has now moved remotely, so online. So, I mean, for the most part, I'm still able to do my job productively from home online. It's a challenge, though, because sometimes you might reach out and a student may not be available, and that's perfectly fine. So flexibility has been a really big thing, knowing that a student athlete doesn't have the same schedule and they may not have access. So you have to be flexible and you have to be mindful of that. And you have to help them nevertheless. If they can't get to me then and there, all right, get to me later on when you have a chance. So that might mean communication outside of the 8 to 5, and that's perfectly fine because times are difficult and we're just trying to make sure that they have what they need while they're home so that when they come back to us in the fall, they haven't missed a beat. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's such a passionate way to handle that situation. And with you being also a family woman, and then also being flexible to be able to say, you know what, yes, we are in I know I work the 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, but my students need what they need and I'm here to assist and help them. So shout out to you.
Thank you. It's not always easy. The hubby definitely says, throws his low blows, but I'm like, you know what? It's okay. So,
I know it is different working at home with your family. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have family in your home or if you have a roommate, for example, or if you have a significant other or a partner, it is different trying to navigate having these conversations. Because personally, I've had times where I'm like, wait a minute, don't do that. And it's like, wait, you can't say that. You're supposed to be in a meeting right now. And vice versa. I've been making a lot of noise too. And then it's been that way as well. So yeah, navigating that as well.
Yeah.
And plus, my students, all of my tutors are getting they're getting this me. They're getting the late night hype, Patricia. They're getting the one that's like, what's up, y'all? Hey, how y'all doing? And I have to say, Patricia, you're supposed to be at work.
Right.
You're supposed
Snap
to be
it back. Yeah.
Snap it back. But I have been a little bit more just kind of like open with my personality because I'm in my own home,
And I think that's
business.
okay. Right. And I think that's okay. I think everyone's acceptable of that. And even my husband, he has to take phone calls. He's working remote as well. And he takes phone calls where he's helping clients, he's servicing networks and things like that. And occasionally he'll have to hold on to my son who's 10 months old, and he'll scream and shout and spit and drool, and customers sometimes hear that. and not one has complained. Every single customer is like, "Oh, are you
Oh,
with your baby?" And he's like, "Yeah, unfortunately, I'm here with my son." And they're like, "You know what, man? I'm here with my kids too." So I think
see?
everyone is being a little kinder, and I think everyone's kind of dealing with the same thing. So I think it's great. It's definitely difficult to navigate and to try to differentiate, the professional versus the personal. But I think everyone's being flexible, so that's been nice.
On the flip side, let's talk a little
Yes,
bit about
ma'am.
family real quickly. So, how are you able to just kind of keep your kids motivated during this time, or are they at the
Right.
age where you don't? It's really good that you're at home because you get to spend some quality time with them.
So I will go with with that last statement that you made. So yes, it has been amazing being at home with my children because they are little. So I have a 3-year-old and I have a 10-month-old. Actually, I have a picture for you. Here they are on my
Oh
pillow.
my God, they're
I
so
was getting
That's
my
Lena.
setup. That's Lena. So she is 3, and then that's BJ. They're a little younger here, but that's them.
They are adorable.
I was
With the
getting my setup.
basketball, so I see you still got the basketball up in there.
I was getting my setup ready, and I was like, I don't have a picture of them, but I was like, oh, hold on, wait, I have a
Got a
pillow. So
pillow.
let me just put the pillow. It has been really nice because they are very little. So definitely working 5 days a week is hard. And there are times where I have to stay late, so I don't get to put them to bed or give them a bath. So sometimes that is very difficult. So I have been able to really cherish those moments. I'm literally with them from the time they wake up until the time they go to bed. So it's been amazing. Now, on the flip side, I'd be lying to you if I didn't say it was difficult. So it's very challenging at the same
Yeah,
time. And that's just the theme of motherhood. It's amazing, but challenging. So just get
yeah.
ready for that.
They have ups and downs.
Right, because they are so little, they
Yeah.
literally need
They
me to
need
live.
you.
I have whatever they need, I have to give them. So whether it's breakfast, I need to give them breakfast. I need to clean up after them. I need to, you're literally doing everything. So you have to not only take care of yourself, you have to take care of 2 little ones as well as work. My husband, yes, he's able to help and he's amazing. But like I mentioned earlier, he has to be on call the entire time. So from 8 to 5, he's on the phone. So it's really hard for him to get away. Whereas I have a little bit more flexibility. I can get up and move around. I can put them on the side of next to me while they're playing, and I can join a meeting. So it's been hard to navigate, especially in the very beginning when you're just trying to figure things out, trying to learn how to do your job from home. But for the most part, I really try to keep them on a set schedule. So in the morning, we all get up, we do our daily routine. We get up, we get ready for school. Then once we have breakfast, we come together, and I usually let my daughter watch a little bit of TV while my son plays in his playpen. After about maybe 30, 40 minutes of that, I sit down with her and we'll do like activities either on her iPad, or I have like a teacher workbook that we'll do activities in together. That maybe takes 20 to 30 minutes. And then I let her watch TV again. So while she's watching TV and she's entertained, that's kind of where I'm doing my work. And then we always go for a morning bike ride. So she'll ride her bike between 10 and 11. I try to get out at least. We'll go for a quick bike ride. We come in, have a popsicle, and then she's exhausted and she'll sit down for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then usually my son at that time falls asleep. So it's a lot of juggling. So constantly I've learned
But a routine, though. You have a routine.
It's a routine. So that's the good thing. It's like, yes, it's crazy, but it is routine. So they know that every morning we're going to be doing the same thing. And then I try to build my day professionally around that. So I know that I can't do meetings from 10 to 11 because usually I'm, outside on the bike. So I'll set my meetings for like from 11 to like 2 because my son is sleeping at that time and my daughter's more manageable. So it's all about routine. I try to keep them busy. I try not to let her do one single thing for a very long time. You get that mom guilt. So I try to switch up to the iPad for a little bit and then a movie, and then I'll let her play. And sometimes we'll do like art or Play-Doh. So it's just about keeping a 3-year-old busy because they are so active. They constantly want to do things. They want to always play. And sometimes she does ask me to play with her. And a lot of times I'm like, no, I can't, Lena, I can't. But then there are other times where I'm like, you know what, Danilsa, sit down on the ground and play with her. Give her these 10 minutes because that's going to make more of an impact on her than anything else. So it's hard, but you just have to just keep swimming is what I say. We actually watched Finding Nemo last night, and I was like, yep, just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yeah, but it's hard. So it's good, though, because my son is little. He's small. He takes a lot of naps during the day, but then my 3-year-old is very active. So it's
BJ. Lay down, baby. Lay down sometime.
But it's awesome. It's awesome because then at the end of the day when I'm done, all right, let's go outside and play. Let's cook dinner together. Let's watch a movie together. And that's what really keeps me going is that time with my family. So that has been really nice, not having to commute an hour and a half every day And just having that time.
Nope, don't just skip over that. I'm sorry. What was your
So we actually just moved in December. We bought a house out by the airport. So thank you. In the morning the commute's an hour. So and I go under and I drop the kids off at daycare. But in the afternoon it can be anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half. So if I leave work at 5, I usually don't get home until 6:30. So it's daunting. On a good day, maybe 6 o'clock, maybe 6:15. But it's been nice because we now have a house. Before we were in an apartment. So I'm happy that we actually got into the house before all of this happened because we now have more space. We have a backyard. We can do things. We love being outside. So that has been really nice. So yeah.
I saw that basketball in the picture.
Yeah.
You talked about cooking and your girl likes to cook, so this is a little bit off topic, but what is your favorite thing to cook?
My favorite thing to cook is baked salmon. It's super easy, super quick, and it's super healthy. And then we're Spanish, so Spanish people love rice and beans. So that's usually like the combo. So we've got rice and beans, pinto beans, and then we've got some baked salmon. So yeah, that's like the go-to. Either that or like baked chicken breast because that's easy as well. So.
Yeah, baked chicken breast is pretty good too. Baked chicken breast is pretty good. I've talked to you a little bit over for the interview, but I had to ask you all these questions. How can we keep in touch with your center specifically on social media?
Yeah, so we do have an Instagram and a Twitter account. Let me just make sure I give you the right name. So it's UCF_ASSA. I'm not really big on social media, but if you can follow us there. We also have a website. If you just Google UCF ASSA, you can find all of our information there as well. And then on the athletics website, so UCFKnights.com, we have all of our athletic updates. There's information on there about, academic honors and awards that we've won as a department and as individual teams. And then we have obviously all of our athletic highlights and updates as far as the upcoming season. So those are all different ways you can stay on top of the UCF Knights athletically and academically.
All right, go Knights and charge on.
Charge on.
Well, it's a little bit of game time for me and you.
I'm a competitor. Let's go.
Okay, I want you to channel your freshman self. I got my calendar over here moving, but I want you to channel your freshman self because I want to play a little bit of a game called Never Have I Ever. And I want you to answer as if you were a freshman. You ready, Danilsa?
2008. I was 17, freshman in Indiana. Let's go. Let's
do it. Okay. So never have I ever skipped class as a freshman.
As a freshman, I did not.
How did you stay on top of going to class and still partying?
Well, I did not party. That was my thing. So my freshman year, I was very focused. I wanted to come in and set a precedent. I wanted my coaches to be really impressed. School's always been really important to me. So academics, I have to be on top of it. Academics doesn't come easy. So it's something that I have to really work hard at. So I try not to slack. And I didn't party. I was a freshman trying to start on a basketball team. I was out of shape. So I knew I needed to get in shape. So those were really my priorities. If I ever did socialize, I had my teammates and we would hang out and do Taco Tuesday and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I was not a big partier. I actually hated partying. I was like, this is lame. People just get together and hang out and talk. This is so dumb. I can be in my room asleep. So freshman self, yep, I did not. My priorities were school and basketball. So yeah.
So if I asked you if you missed an exam, that's definitely not something that you did.
I don't think I ever missed an exam. No. Never. I don't think I ever have. No, ma'am. Maybe I might have had an optional. I think my freshman year I had an optional math exam, and I didn't take it because I had a super duper A. I took the class. I didn't know why it was even in the class. I think one of my teammates was in it, and I wanted something easy, so I was like, whatever, let's just take it. And it was a dumb class, so it was easy. Didn't take the final, passed the class. So but that was optional. So I was scared.
You one of them people that be like, oh my gosh, I gotta work so hard and do all of this stuff, and then you using everything.
No, I'm not. No. No.
I can make it look easy. I don't think it does come easy, but I think you can make it look easy.
Well, that makes me feel better, but it's not how I feel. It definitely feels different. So.
Have you ever had a fight your freshman year in college? And that does include on the basketball team when y'all was practicing.
No.
Okay, good.
No. I'm a very kumbaya. I want everyone to get along. Even my freshman year, I definitely wasn't, gonna let anyone push over me, but I tried to get along with everyone and I tried to do the right thing. No fights for me.
Have you ever went to office hours for your professor your freshman year?
Yes, yes. I remember taking my first psychology exam, Psych 101, and I like studied so hard, highlighted everything, sticky notes, ready to pass this class, or pass this exam with an A, got a big old D. And I was like distraught. First time I'd ever gotten a really bad grade on an exam. And I was like, what am I doing wrong? So I remember going to my professor's office hours. I forget his name, but he was amazing. I ended up inviting him to one of my basketball games because he was so helpful. It was a huge lecture. So obviously, there's no individualized attention. So when
Right.
I went to office hours, he was awesome. He showed me how to study, how to focus on certain things in the textbook. I ended up passing the class, I think, with like a B, but he was awesome. So definitely recommend you going to office hours because that can make the world of a difference. And any class I ever struggled with at Indiana, I was always going to professor's office hours. And that's how I passed, because if not, your girl would not be here today.
No, I feel the same way. I built good relationships with my professors, and I
Yep.
know there was times where I was at a C, and I know if I must have been on the cusp because I got a B, and I know it's because of the relationship that I had with them.
Good
I
book.
stalked professors during their office hours. I was that person, not just my freshman year, honey, my
Yeah.
sophomore year, my
Same.
junior year, my senior.
Same.
I was that
Same. I
person.
remember. I remember one professor that I had. I think it was my junior year. I was always at his office hours, and it was always empty. No one would ever go, and I would always
Hmm.
go and get help with homework and get help with my exams. And he was
Yep.
super helpful, super
Yep.
helpful. And then as an athlete too, you have to go to office hours because you're on the road, you're traveling, you're going to miss a lot of class. That's the number one thing with my student athletes. I always tell them, like, go to your professor's office hours. And those who do it do well, and those who refuse to do it do struggle. So it's something that from the very beginning, I'm like, office hours are going to be really important. So
Yeah. I
I
like
highly
that.
encourage. Yep.
So then I'm just going to ask you a straight out question. If you could change anything about your freshman year that you didn't do that maybe you should have done, what would you change? Or was that your glory year? Sometimes it's your glory year.
It was my hardest year. It was my hardest year at Indiana. I was literally sick the entire year because I was from South Florida and I'd moved to Indianapolis or Bloomington, Indiana, where it was
Oh,
freezing the entire year. So I was sick the entire time, had the flu for the first time ever. So
oh wow.
yeah, it was hard. Didn't play 1 minute of basketball because I wasn't very good. So I would maybe say that the one thing that I wish I could have changed that would have made, I think, the experience better for me my freshman year would have to be, I think, if had I come in better shape. So as an athlete, you have to be in top shape to be able to compete. So I think had I come in better shape, I would have had a different experience. I think my body would have been more immune to all the things that I caught. I think I would have been better protected against a lot of the colds that I had as well. And I think I would have maybe played a little bit more. And I would not have been so stressed out about being in shape because being in shape was like the number one focus.
The
So I
thing
had
that
to eat right, lose weight. I had to do all these things, and then I still wasn't playing. So I think had I maybe been in a little bit better shape, I wouldn't have been as sick. So that would have been easier to deal with. I might have played a little bit more, which would have been, fun. It would have kept me going. So I would say that probably would be kind of what I would have changed. And then one thing that actually comes to mind now that I think about it, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety as a freshman. And that's something that
mm,
I didn't know I was dealing with until I was out of it. I remember thinking like, just go talk to someone, go to the health center. And I was like, no, I don't want them to think I'm dumb. Or I remember feeling like
right.
as
Like
though it was something negative.
yeah.
Eventually I got through it, and obviously I'm older now and I look back on it. I'm like, that was major anxiety. You literally, your entire world was changed. You were trying to figure out who you were. You were going through so many different levels of identity and you just needed help. But
Yeah.
I just did other things. I slept a lot. I was by myself a lot. I did
Mm,
journal. That helped.
yeah.
But I just wish at some point I would have been like, I did talk to one of my teammates and she did help a bit, but I wish I would have gone to like a professional and been like, hey, like I'm feeling this way. What can I do?
Yeah.
I think it would have helped me get out of that funk a little sooner, and I would have understood how to deal with it because I struggled a lot as a freshman. I'm happy that I kept going because eventually I got out of it and a lot of good things
Right.
came. But I think had I had a little bit more help and guidance in how to deal with that anxiety or deal with whatever I was dealing with, because I didn't know it was anxiety then. I think that would have helped me a little bit more. So
I
yeah.
love Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for being open enough to play the game. I appreciate it. And Danilsa, thank you for all the great advice that you give me. You have a very mature spirit. You are still in your 20s, honey, but you have a very mature spirit. You give very good advice. And that's what I've always liked about you. You're just easy to talk to. So the athletes that you oversee, that you're with, like I know that you're there because it's in your heart. You're great. You're awesome. And I gotta ask you,
Cry.
cry, girl, cry, throw a tear. No,
Go ahead.
but it's Memorial Day weekend. You doing something fun on Monday? Because we out.
Yeah. Well, we are out. My husband works, so he does work that morning. He's working from 6 to 3. So I think what we're going to do is we have family that lives right across the street. We always hang out with them. He has nephews that live over there, and they're so much fun. So we might just go over there when he's done with work and grill out and hang out by the pool. They have like a little floaty pool because they closed our community pool due to COVID. So we'll probably just dress the kids up for the pool, grill out, hang out. Dominicans are loud and make so every time we go over there, it's lots of laughs, a really good time, a lot of talking, a lot of good food. So that is most likely what we will be doing on Memorial Day. So how about you? What are you doing?
I'm just gonna kind of rest easy. I'm actually in the process of getting ready to move, so I'm just trying to make sure that everything is like where it needs to be, and then just probably a little bit of walking and some exercise, and I might get somebody special to grill for me.
Oh yes, do that. I might go work out too. I'll probably, if my gym is open, I'll do like a 6 a.m. workout before all of that. So then, like, I like organization. My house is a mess right now. It doesn't look like it because I got this little area, sectioned off. But my house is in shambles, so I really need to dedicate some time, give my house some TLC, clean up, organize, purge my closet, stuff like that. So usually on those days in the morning, that's what I do. And then in the afternoon, we'll turn up.
Turn up with the fam.
Turn up with the fam by the pool.
Well, thank you again, Danilsa, for being a guest, a very special first Stab Spotlight Series guest on the Late Night Hype YouTube channel. And before I let everybody else go tonight, I just want to give them some Late Night Hype updates. I want to thank you all for your support during our transition to YouTube. We already have 20 subscribers. And if you are not subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss a show. Join us on Tuesday for our regular episode featuring financial advisor Carlin Johnson. He's going to tell us a little bit about how we can get our financial game up. And thank you again, Danilsa, for being a guest on the show. I know that you don't do a whole lot of social media, but we will be following ASSA on their channels. As a reminder, it's UCF_ASSA, or honestly, if you just go on these social media sites and just put in, UCF Athletics, some options will come up and you'll be able to follow whomever you feel like it. Now we're going to end with your final and very special quote from a movie that I actually have seen, A League of Their Own. It says, "It's meant to be hard. If it were easy, then everyone would do it." Tom Hanks. Shout out to that. And thank you
life motto.
Providing that life motto for us. Any parting words?
No, just thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Love being in the camera. For me, it's a little bit more comfortable than behind a microphone. So I'll do it anytime, any day. Yeah, I love an audience. I'm a people person. So yes, I love it. So thank you. And thank you for all your friendship. It's been amazing. You've been so helpful in my life. So it's an honor to be on here with you having these conversations. So thank you.
Where I go, you will go. So if there's ever another show, I will be like, Danilsa, holla at your girl. So please promise that.
Yes.
You can catch us weekdays every Tuesday night on YouTube and our Staff Spotlight series every other Saturday. Do not forget to give your input, Hype Squad, leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, using the social media hashtag Late Night Hype. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to our Staff Spotlight series and have a very fantastic day.
Bye.